Back again, back again, back again. So yeah, welcome back, and today is um another book review day, and today I'll be doing a review of My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Ottessa Moshfegh. Huh. Okay. This one came out 4 years ago, and it's one of the probably the first book I read this month. It was a book club recommendation, and I remember at the time when we realized this was the book we're going to read for that particular book club. I remember thinking the name of the book didn't sound very interesting, and I was thinking it was going to be something like a story where the character goes on a vacation and they sort of have some adventures, probably fall in love or have some terrible things happen to them and some good things on this year of rest and relaxation. And throughout, in the course of all those things happening to them, they're going to grow their character, have some, I don't know, personal development, probably have some deep thoughts, and in the end change their outlook on life or turn out to be an entirely different person, for better or for worse. And I thought, that might be a good idea for a book, and depending on how well it's executed, might be a good book. So that was what I thought I was going to be reading when I picked this up. I guess it's fair to say that what the book actually was nothing close to what I expected going into it, and I guess that wasn't a good thing for me, because I feel like what I wanted it to be turned out to be better than what it actually was. Um, but yeah, a brief plot is the book is set in 2001 New York. The main character lives there. Both of her parents passed recently, and it's sort of implied in the book. Well, maybe a little bit, a little more than implied. We know that she didn't have like the best relationship with her parents, and they passed away, and she's sort of like in this grief. She also has a best friend who she doesn't really like, and treats very, very, very awfully. And I mean, make of that what you will. It's a bit weird having a best friend who you don't like. I know, right? But yeah, that's what the book, or that's what's in the book. And essentially, she wants to spend a year to relax and rest, to deal with the grief and the depression that she's having. I'm guessing as a result of the grief. And I guess all the other surrounding things in her life that aren't going the way she would probably like. And she wants to sleep for a year, and the hope that when she wakes up from this sleep, she's going to recover and be well and not want to, I don't know, be depressed anymore. A sort of rebirth, if you will. So that's the plan, or that's why she's deciding to go into this deep hibernation. I guess that's another way to call it. And that's essentially the plot of the book. Nothing much happens there. We just follow her life throughout her day to day mundane tasks. If she actually does anything, she pretty much does nothing. She sits home, watches Whoopi Goldberg, probably hardly ever takes a shower, goes out to to a bodega in front of her house, gets some coffee, comes back, and we read her day to day mundane tasks. And in between, there's sprinkled her past memories, and it's in this flashback memories and stuff that we get to see her relationship with her parents. We also get to see what her past relationship with her friend was like. I mean, her friend comes to the house to visit her every now and then, but it seems like she doesn't want this friend to be there because it almost seems like she doesn't like the friend. So it's this is just what is going on in the book, which is also another way to say that there is nothing really happening in this book. So yeah, the characters. There's this Doctor Toddle, who is like the the narrator's psychiatrist, um, and she is the one who enables the narrator to be able to have the sleep. So the psychiatrist prescribes sort of like experimental pills to her so that she could sleep, and she takes a lot of these pills, and way more than I think a normal human being can take and still be alive. And the narrator just keeps on taking this pill. And this character of the psychiatrist, I think, is one of the best characters in the book. Not one of, because there are not that many. I think she's the best character in the book for me. Not because there's anything special about her, but I think she was just very different and awkward, and felt like she was actually there more for comic relief than for anything else. Well, she was also there to enable the main character get all her prescription pills. Well, yeah, prescription pills that she needed to sleep. The other character, which was the narrator, I think she was portrayed well, I guess. I mean, if the point was to make her unlikable, then I guess the author did like a very good job, because I thought she was very, very unlikable. So much so that I didn't even care. I mean, I think it's pretty weird that there's a portrayal of depression, and I almost didn't care that the narrator was depressed, and I didn't care whether or not she got well, which is a really like interesting thing to do. I mean, if that's what the author planned to do, I guess they did a really good job. There's also the character of Riva, her friend, who sort of like the opposite of the main narrator, in terms of like she seemed to be more caring. She cared more about the relationship, and almost didn't care that the narrator then wasn't showing her as much love as she was her. The character of Riva also had some parts of her that weren't like, she had some bad habits as well. She was a bit selfish, but I mean, I feel like with all humans, there are like good things about us and bad things about us anyway. So I didn't think that was like too much of a negative on her part. So I thought the character was good. There was also like the main character's love interest, which I don't know whether or not you can call her love. It did seem to me like a very twisted relationship, where because of all the self-hate that she had for herself, she wanted someone who would treat her in a very mean way. It almost felt like this might have been what she thought love was, because she didn't exactly have like the best version of love from her parents, and in her head, love had to be twisted and weird. I mean, that was how I interpreted the book. There probably was something else or another interpretation of what was going on there. But yeah, in terms of the characters, I think that those are all the characters that were worth mentioning. Some were better than some not memorable at all. I think the book deals with themes of depression. Um, it tackles it in a different way. I think this is the first time I've seen depression being tackled in a way where, I mean, I don't even know how to explain, to really explain what's going on here. It's almost like this person is depressed, and they're trying to treat it themselves by sleeping. Now, I don't know how they got that idea into their head, why they thought it's going to work in the first place, but they do. But I mean, she does, and yeah, she's going ahead to try this, I guess, experimental plan to see if her idea or her way of treating depression works. The book also tries to tackle grief, which I think, in my interpretation of the book, anyways, is where the depression comes from, the grief from losing her parents, and not having dealt with that, especially because they didn't have a very good relationship. I feel this grief affected her so much that she probably started having this depression. The book also tackles that as well. I think also something the book did well is the relationship that people have with their friends and the people around them. How a lot of the relationships we have are relationships are just because we can get something from the other person. There's a word I'm looking for, but yeah, it pain. It's really annoying to me when like there's a word like at the tip of my tongue, but I just can't like find it. But yeah, the relationships that I feel like lots of people have are just because it's beneficial. You get something from that person, so you're their friend, and it's very selfish. Yeah, this book also tries to tackle that as well. But yeah, I mean, I did have like tons of problems with the book, but I tried to like shorten them down into two. The first one is that the book almost wants you to suspend belief because there are lots of ridiculous things happening in the book, but then it also wants you to take it seriously as well, which was hard for me to do because, for example, there's a character of the doctor who the narrator goes to see for the pills. The book tries to make you feel like this doctor is like a real doctor with a license to practice, and yet she does a lot of ridiculous stuff. It's almost like she's not even a doctor with the things that she does. She just keeps recommending experimental pills after experimental pills to this person, and she has no recollection of what the patient said to her yesterday. And it's all just weird. And for whatever reason, I couldn't take this seriously. There were tons of other things like this happening in the book as well, where it's like this just doesn't seem like it's realistic to me. So it was hard for me to take the things that were happening in the book seriously because of all this stuff that somehow requires you to suspend belief. I think the second thing is that the way the book ended, this is a bit of a spoiler, but like considering nothing really happens in the book, I don't know if the book can be spoiled. But it resolves too quickly. Well, not quickly. Quickly is not the word I'm looking for. Or abruptly, or conveniently. I think conveniently is the right word here. Um, okay, she goes to sleep to cure her depression, and at the end of the sleep, the depression is cured. And I'm like, how? Why? Like, how? This doesn't like. Does sleep cure depression, or is there something that I'm missing here? Is what I like. I don't know how. It wasn't like she had some interaction with someone, or there was an event that sparked her new will and desire to live. It wasn't like there was something that happened to her. From all I got from the book, she just had this hibernation, and all of a sudden, immediately after it, she's like, "Yay, I'm going to live now! Hooray!" The sleep worked, and the book just ends. And that was it. It felt like it left me with more questions than answers. I mean, sometimes that's a good thing in the book, but considering I didn't care about anything happening in the book in the first place, at the end I was like, why did I just read this? Well, now that I say this, it sounds like there is nothing good about the book, which is not true, because I think the book is well written. I mean, it's not the best prose in the world, but I think it's a really well written book. There's something to be said for the fact that it's a different take on a topic that has been handled, that's probably handled in the same way. Like, I'm talking about the idea of depression. This is just a different take on it. I'm not sure that I like it, but I mean, it's probably not for me to like. Also, I don't know that I have any experience with depression, so it's probably not in my place to say if this was a good representation of what it feels like to be depressed. But I just think it's different. I've read nothing like this before, and it's not entirely bad. It was a book club recommendation. I can say for sure that there were lots of people who liked it. And I think the way the books are recommended in this particular book club is someone has to recommend a book that they've read. And usually it's a book that the person loves. So the person who recommended this book loved the book a lot. And while we were discussing it, it was almost like a split. There were tons of people who did like it and tons of people who didn't like it. Probably would be nice if I could remember some of the things that people liked, but I don't know. I can't remember. We talked about this book, I think about 3 weeks ago now, so it's not as fresh in my head as I would like it to be. But yeah, it does have some good things going for it for sure. I mean, there is it's a bit funny, I would say. Funny not because there are jokes, but funny because there are just lots of ridiculous things happening in it. And it also does have some deep themes, I would say. And there are brief phrases and parts of it where you can take it serious and not feel like, I don't know, like an idiot or something. But yeah, would I recommend it? I mean, not really, but I think I would just recommend it if you're trying to read something different, because this is different. And yeah, I don't know, different bad for me, but for some people it was different good. And the book was very popular, so I mean that's probably there's something to be said for that, I guess. That lots of people like it, even though I didn't. Maybe I just didn't get it. But yeah, that's all there is to say for me about the book. Yeah, that's it for this video too. I'll catch you in the next one. It's probably going to be a review about what's the next review supposed to be? Hold on, I should remember. Yes, I remember. It's supposed to be Greek Lessons by Han Kang. Yeah, looking forward to talking about that one. Well, not looking forward to it, but yeah, we'll see. Anyways, catch you in the next one. Bye.